다들이 배배 넘넘랭이 소문을이야. 안 도마. 당에 가져다. 고로들이 휴기.
I would like to extend my greetings of good afternoon to all of you.
다 가져다. 들이 가져다 미망고질이야. 들인 제면용. 아는 제면용 제면기 미점도 마세베 아니 유럽 기업 제면이 베베다 미망고지 배예베체 미망고지 변게 인두산에 안디줄이야 가져다지 고급 세나라도 다가다 프랑스리아 아니 당과로 초이스로 마즈 표투야 제도 안디 순죄 세나라도 마지막 기시야디 당보 체시 제배 定了他东西呢推吧看些嘛就是都是还不是啥安德林就是啥呢大一年当가장 니마 가지지 망고지 시에자래 아들이 망고지니 알아 사바든지 가르지 쇠바 망고지 아 시아스 게 매매섭시다 마치 시에스 배송지 리제샤 Okay.
So this time I could visit Germany, and lots of people from Germany came to see me, but not only from Germany, many people from Europe also came to see me. And because there are so many who wanted to be here, so to give them more opportunity, we kind of created some more talks which were not scheduled in the beginning. But then I've been talking to you for the last few days, and I've talked a lot, and maybe I don't have anything more new or special to say to you.
단 드린 게 토픽이 좀 주시르디 가상 오만데 라고르지는데 가서 야 changing the world into outside kinsaji 가 지난 로데 요서 한지지 라이드가
Topic changing the world from inside out. Love and compassion for a globalized world.
다들 가상 오만데 직벌이 재밌네 다들
Halam.
아
Halam does change.
직벌이 재다
Maybe it's the same topic as before.
这个是台湾人的직벌이 재다
You just unnecessarily bought extra ticket.
당에 서면 다 들려야 가르쳐다 어떤 선이 가르쳐 왕구리아다 지 formal 가르쳐다 지 this official sana formal sana 도 series 가르쳐다 series 서머다 드르지 예배설도 드레인 유산 디균셀 데네 라드인 데야 데스 가르야 텔라 펜도 영화 체도 and that this there's a more formal Siena. Siena,
Tomorrow we are scheduled to do an empowerment, and that is kind of more formal teachings or the more serious kind of Buddhist practice. So therefore, maybe in order to help to make that more meaningful, maybe I should say something which is a little bit more formal.
Delia Katrada Zabulin d'Italia. So Zabulin di Kashre Zadabado Azue Takashre Tatabado Azuegi Yije Sananda, that Dabado Kashre Seso Neagi Kashreda Jigtian Sanandado Kola Djibouti that the impress. We Tadabadong as the main being on a Shindaji Chaban Richard Tadabadu Yomane. Tane that in Nal Zamulin di Nalolea, the Kashreji life. Kashwaraji Seso Nay Vegeta, that damn Beijing, Jimmy Mangushi. So device, Manadaji, Naminazo, Naminazo Shibuji, Chunare, Janguji, Mangushi Chunare, Tadabado, Mazue, Tapen insect, some of them Bui Ridizwene, and a Shingdon Chilina, the Buddha Shibit de Sabbath day. Yeah, you got it. The shadow. And then I to Mijil, draw Mijibula, that me rig the Chazandi, Takada, one of this Katrada. Kind of mean. Sosa rig Chichadi are, me rig Chazandi, Sosa rig Chichadi are. That deline, Tanapena, also me, millionaire, that Nasela. What this Kashrudaji Miri Kaba the Jamrish try on the yard, and Subutoni in the Benacinazu Tanamazu, Fingal Regina. That is Mutism Mijamija user. Mijamija, these are fingerprint, Sedusana, and Kadaji, Zamuli Miss Samarulia, the Mijamija. Takanda, Donna. So device some of that is only the Socha in Bajilia Takashuradaji Hajangi. So device number not so ye de so conflicated Sanandando that the
in this universe, the only place or the planet where living beings are found so far is this planet, the planet of Earth. Although maybe people can imagine that there are other planets also where beings or living beings might exist. So far, this is the only planet where living beings are found. And on this planet also, there are many different types of living beings exist. Even on one tree, you might find many different types of insects live, and we are still discovering different types of beings now. And human being is just one species of them all. And among the human beings also, there are many different races, different types of human beings. They are all different, actually. Each person has different kind of lines on their fingers, like fingerprints are very different from each other. So in short, there's so many different types of beings and so many, complicated, different, various types of things, beings, living beings live on this earth.
나린도 다들 가르래 심지기 민저와 안데 다기 지가르래 다지 주주 민저와 산안장도 내다 민저도 수여되비미래 다 이미네 인데비냐 다 간다 안 참로 진짜가 개발 전부 예비냐 전담동 아주 지기질이야 가르래지 지기질이야 댄시대여지 딱 지기질이야 가르래 라르베세난라도 지기질이야 댄시대여지 제상 안에 가르래 베나 아주지 랑부체데 수부천부 인장 디균선 때네 고진당 체여를 삼으로지 인색 즉 충준디서 수부충준 파데나 뇽중 뉴메를 통과하래 제자 디기 차네 코 고가심부시다 메데를 통과하래 디 이면 된도 상물로 공고해 되지 가서 아주 최소 안 저불린디 토리아 에너지 가서 최소 되게 상물로 내야래 직도 지기체제 다 유예돼 버리지 다 도시 인데가 알아 아니 린두산에 다 아상로 간다래 최소되게 상로 지기질 녀와 알류돼 버지다 직도 지기체대 하우스
So all these various different types of beings that are existing on this earth, they are very different from each other. They look different, they have different ways of doing things, different situations of life. They are very different from each other. But if you look at them in a more kind of deep way, then you will find that all these living things exist depending on each other. We dependently live on each other. For instance, the elephant is very big, one of the biggest animals. And one might think that elephant is very big, therefore its life has more value. But then, if you look at the insect, and that is small, and so we sometimes think that the value of that life is small. But when you look at the value of themselves, their own life, then there's no difference. They all have lives, and they all value their lives. So therefore, and each of these life forms, although they are very different from each other, have in certain ways dependent on each other. They help each other. And so therefore, we kind of exist here very dependently and interdependently.
답변은 아주 디 장마요 정치상경 장마 다 되는 지민은 바데르산에 그런 수부 주주자래 이내 다 되기 팬도디 다 되기 가르쳐다 매도 주례네 아니 매도 가서 매도다 로도 배 매도 예버체 다 이제 차네 아주다 드라밀이야 펜터치 쉽지 인데버지 다 이제 간다 김세 저 리보 망고 쉽지 언데 알아디사 시에도 세네베 다 강다냐 어다 진짜이다 아들은 제바지 알아서 저분이 이탈리아 예배厕所 교화다 미교화 sommer 다 조조의 교회 심지 sommer가 다 되들려 아주 리진 제바지 안에 펜션 지리 지리 제바지 안에 딘 제바디 민리아 제바틀리아 버지 남배 최네 봐 지민 민 년보지 가사난 장도 들려 안에 된다 튠비 민 지다 때가라서나 마다 부인 잡아도 다 마다 부인 잡아 포지티브 토네 마다 부사야데 타지도 오브젝트로 지금 뭐이미체 마스도 산지 그게 오브젝트로 디 마른데 가서다지 부리사 디기스 마이미체 그럼 딜리아 조데 마다 부사데 조디 디디디 kind this 가서다 connection sananda rado yana ndi kasore spirit sananda rado samaroda tindidu chilia debam ta di nubam ta tindidu chilia and mother put javas tindes mingda.
So to give an example, the bees are very small insects, and it doesn't look like so important, but then it takes essence from the flowers and then fertilizes lots of fruits and things like that. So in this way, that is how the relationship, the interdependent things are happening all over the world. The living things as well as the non-living things have these kind of relationships and a dependency. And that kind of relationship and dependency in Buddhism have a name, a very nice name, and something which is quite meaningful name. That's the relationship of mother and child. This mother and child is not just like mother and child as two objects. It's not like that. But this relationship is the relationship of connections, relationship of, of the relatedness, the spirit relationship, very strong connections, kind of energy. So therefore, this is called the mother and child relationship.
Today, mother puin javasadi. 아주 든 자바디 positive 소마르바다지 드제기다 자바예바디 positive 아주디 컨디션에 positive 톤에 든 정의당 다 정의다 타고도 배 surrounding world 소마르바다지 no matter 가리나 배 session or an 가서다 session 마임바 다들이야 맞아 들려 가서 positive outlook 니지 아버지 세아버지 picture 주 안되듯이 셔
And this relationship of mother and child is a very positive kind of relationship. Like you are the relationship between yourself and everything around you, whether that's sentient beings or non-sentient things or beings. Everything is, related with cause and effect. And this creates an understanding or picture, a very positive picture or very positive way of looking at things.
ngazu samro le ada kandar je ngasa lenge karshwe ngada da zibrbito nejare lenge nga da se du san ji deze karshwe independent ji rawan ro ji de 다가는 신기 소소전이 지고 가서 네트워크 속도별로 다는 신 현라 가서 나세 주잖아 그냥 그런 수르도 가서 현라 되바면 그러지 그러지ዝ벌 줄 알아요 이내야 뭐 니수통이야 그러는데 아주 심시 체비나 나스도 간다시야 나스도 자네 축도 버지 대바면서 도다민도 당 나사 가서 아주 덕신도 좀 민다서로 쪼디 당 아주 되디 아주 뭐 통하시면 수부도 되래 이내당 아주 수부디现对吧？现了马对吧？现了马对吧？冲去，是不是？他看他就跑马的店里冲对吧？这就是说，然后就杀了马就写文的，就在现的，他的后来他跑马的店里冲对吧？老做的。那当然新的，苏布的基本偏给民多，这里啊，这苏布的错啊给。세다 거기 튕긴데서 매비나 수부대 로다 집어로 수부대 로라네 근데 인도산에 아주 세 튕긴 거기 튕긴 망보지 고아 근데 세기 그딴 거기 튕긴데 간데서 좀 말해 근데야 샤는데는 좀 없지 다바르도 다당 아주 globalisation som다 진짜 나는 당 아주 더 초대임인데 아주 여기 세에서 다른 분이 계급 신단에 배나 신도 이제 같이 계급 신단에 연대 봐. 안 돌로를 봐 같이 배 다른 분이 연대 봐. 대단 아주 대서디 developed country를 이제 대야래. 배 돌로 성계인데 these undeveloped countries 나라도 야나 지 로봇 접어든다는 수 총대 봐. 배도 연대. 제가 돌로 성계돼서 아주 미가 돈이 요만해. 아주 고주 하고 오야만 이내야 고주 수업에 돌아대 당 아주 근규해 봐. 나중에
all of us have an experience of I or me or self naturally right from the beginning. And we all think that I exist independently. There's a feeling of I which is self-existing. Something that does not have to be relying on others. I exist on my own. Although that's our feeling, if you look how it really is in its kind of a true way of being, then you see, is there a self-existing I or not? So when you look at me, what we call the object or the main thing that I call me is this body, the body of mine. And if you look, what is this body? Then it is very easy to find that this body is not something that's totally independent. It's totally interdependent and dependent on many things. That's not easy, not difficult to find. Like, for instance, it has to be dependent on our parents. And the body is not just one. It's many things, it's many parts. And also, to sustain this body, we need lots of things, lots of other things. We need food, clothes, and all kind of various things. And if they are not there, then this body will not survive. It will become a dead body. So it is totally dependent on lots of things. And also those things on which this body is dependent, like food and clothes, especially in this globalized society now. Some of these things come from very faraway places. For instance, we wear clothes. And these clothes, sometimes those clothes that people wear in a developed country could be actually manufactured in a very underdeveloped country somewhere else. And those people who have created those clothes, maybe we never know them, we never see them. They're coming from all over the world and totally different kind of places. So it's like that.
Personal life experience share 아주 충분히잖아요. 나랑 충분히 걸려야다. 간다. 가르지. 로드윙 바도 다 마라나니아 대지다. 그 규만의 소화기야래. 디걸이야 very 가르다. 디걸이야 family feeling of the child. 다 레간드로사지. 아마 레간드로 아바 레간드로사지 샤요마. 싫어요. 만세 그뒤에 지고 냠도 돼야 그러지. 나는 라버도 고모다 받으시 냠도 좀지 고고르지 냠도 좀 고고르지 되지 길 매를 당시 아니 가서지 파마당 게럽디즈 엔 가서데 gem바디즈기 쿠란즈다 로준도다 다 종조시야 그러지 어디 얼마 제가 so close the family feeling sanadando nyamdo debe chorb shayara ta tene lot dyene lebe jelia ani 가르지 파마 다 다른 무릎 차지 아니 고베나리아 집에 고베나로리아 수고베 나로라 다디 고바딜리아리 토자 시즈요래 토자지 니 토자시 지 토자 수미였다 나 토자 수버디 간 데가래 간즈 싱그레 땅한 조베 부지로 함 로바지 로바는 아주 배율이야 로바디 파즈 로바디즈 남균의 파즈 move 체대하지 본라하지 대사도 본 교도 세상 아주 대 freedom으로 지디 로하디 freedom으로 시작하는데 파즈 교 보르데서 파 교수교 가자 저러래 사자 동바래 아니 모델 동용 그래서 따고 말해 다 가나 지지 사자 동만 들으셔 안 다나신 아주 대주산에 군가마다지 야가다 디주걸이야 강바야 요 말이야 다 야게 집을 쇠샤베 다 구르로 되는 안 되는 요 제사 다 간다 freedoms and another freedom 가서 파전 줘야 freedom을 시다요 다 suddenly 간다 토자 순간들이야 대제 디나 가서 봐 주샤베서 지두산에 아니 셈내야 디스 가서 파마다양 카테 아니 우마가 초와데 사바시비지 레지들 체인두산 셈내야 디스 가서 다 가서 되지 동해사는 자도 야나 마디바사는 잡들지
So therefore, if I talk about my own personal life experience, as I have already done, few times. When I was very young, before 7, before I was recognized as Karmapa, it was a very ordinary nomadic life. There were lots of time to play. My mother never went to work. My father never went to work. All the time in the evening, we used to sit together around the fire, and the elder people used to tell stories. So the family was very warm feeling of, very close feeling of family. That was the way I lived my life. But after my 7th year, then I became separated from my parents. I went to the monastery, and I was staying on the 3rd floor of the monastery, which was very different from the nomadic life. Because the nomadic life, the children actually had lots of space to run around, and we also moved our places many times. There was, you can run anywhere you like. There was no fear that the cars will knock you down. Actually, there was not even houses most of the time, except in the winter. We didn't live in houses, we lived in tents. So there were lots and lots of freedom. And suddenly, when I moved to the monastery, then my parents were not there. There's not much freedom to play. So when that happened, I felt certain kind of uncomfort, maybe a little bit of kind of suffering and unhappiness.
다나 신기다 부 집에 인주산에 집에 뒤서다 로냠 로 란다 나수냠 버지 고르다 뭐 점쟁이 다 수부디 공발려래 지도산 나수냠 버지 요만다 나수베 개바게야 아 소소래 나수베 개바게야 they look serious, look old. I don't want to play with you. What are you doing? Something like that. Dinderbishi gengaru dushe. Chezang dinderbishi dusana ta kanderbishi ersana. Ta ngegi nengaru ta kashi ersana. Oda dinderji gna salon chung de dusana. Ta ngegi somehow somebody can sort of 가르쳐다. 다 랑게 파메 첩 제도 번호 보지. 랑게 파메 첩 제도 번호 봐. 가르쳐다 디기 가르쳐 play the role of my parents or friends. That they just try to find them. 세상에 남겨 가르쳐서나 따지 점님 가서 가는 미망고 싶지 아투가 용거 알아. 코란 중에서나 딱 아바 라만으로 지기 마치기 라만으로 지기 된대지긴 두시에로 체제 따들지 가서 데이트 가서 take serious taking 가서 된대로 체제 엄래 나랑 왜네 마치 가르쳐는 거 위해서나 하는 코란 중에 두시야디 가서 somehow feeling the gap. So gaps and that 동버를 다 등기 동버를 줘 버다. 밤아야 매 저거야 매. 뒤 동버디 카섭트 버르. 이제 바다 매 첩선한 저거도 얘는 윤지시. 예 칠리에베다. 자라 망쳐야지. 미신다 제셔. toilet paper this way. 미신다 제셔. 제자들이 두산에 missionary take care. I always feeling lots of people concern me, lots of people care me. Slowly getting this kind of feeling. This I not just have this. 가서다지 깨베, 루이 깨베, 파마좀도 마세베. 지야, 대마인바. Another kind of parent, or you can say friends, that it's helped me a lot. So, I a주 패도요 없이. Did this stories na? That I get constitution in the Kazakhan Union is in some of the chanting.
When you are a child, you need playmates, you need small children to be together. But then in the monastery, it was not like that. There was nobody of my own age or age group. Everybody around me looked much senior, very serious, and older. And when that happened, then to kind of fill the gap of that, the lack of parents, I had a certain kind of way of looking that all those who came to see me became like my parents. Because if I looked around, everything that I had was given by other people. And all these people who came to see me were very concerned about me, was caring for me. Of course, they looked at me as their master or their lama. But although they were not my parents who kind of gave birth to me or gave my birth body, but they became another kind of parents. So therefore, all those people who came to see me and who kind of who were around me, I started to slowly see them as similar to my parents.
That name you son, that name you send then. Other day, inside to outside some of that, Karasan Tindiji that on the social semia, energy, Karre, Jejim, Pamba, Mido, Lochi, Ribe, Dosje, Kashreda, Gyalwang Karmapa and Rando, Yanaji, Susu, very comfortable tone, right? That got Yag in Aram, some of that neg tone, that Ribichi, Sembrich, gay and Lusane. And the Dingoneji, Jumma in Passan and Rando, Semdi, Chimamabri, Arche, Matoji, Matobeachi, Mission that Chikashredadi, Ndi, Kashreji, Navasangebe, and Kashredaji, Chuyamne, Injimiji Chaure, Jurandena Chaure, Mandena Chaure, Sorchi, my biche, and a Lama Chimburuchigi, my carved dance, Tatarambe, Ninji Comshusana. One of the Nintabana, Kalakabra. It took me to the ready, Kalakabra. Just the Dishi Quash. Jazang Ninji said, Tagishiadi, compassion, Shediadi, more than sympathy, more than empathy. Kazotaji. Sympathy, empathy is much the object, the sham. They'll understand it, that the where you're from, come from, compassion is the son. Not delay, being savage. Tell it so much, matter something you. Caress compassion is a day. Journey, pay object, which you pay simply regime, shall me. Journey, and that don't ever send a rando. Can that say, Europe, the simply delia, curve, that mevas and rando, so are gave chiche. That under quite a nyabachigi, that did of soa, which the gentle, the Rinduza did you send dene? Compassion to the son, so sugi, that the jumping sanadalo. You need to come from Kashbataji. Kura is the nama, turn jumping sanadano. Going outside from you, somewhere with that. Go to that wrong outside from your place to another. That the native Chiquaruchi. Matter something.
So this is something that arises from inside and goes out in a very kind of loving experience, very strongly affectionate experience, which comes freely and not kind of created, but naturally, comfortably arising, unstrained, that kind of experience. Sometimes when we talk from the Buddhist point of view, it's not that you have to be compassionate, like Lama says, you have to meditate on compassion, you have to be compassionate whether you like it or you don't like it. It's not something like that. That way to generate this kind of compassion is difficult. If you say that you have to generate compassion whether you like it or not, that will be difficult to happen. So when we talk about compassion, it is something which is a little bit more than sympathy and which is more than empathy. It's very something much deeper, a deeper feeling. So it's something that your kind of deeper affection or feeling that you have towards others, that comes with certain kind of degree of feeling of love and affection.
다 담아들이야 단도나 아주에 니지사디 be part of others. 다가다지 소수의 과사되네 봐. 신기 과사래야 봐. 뽑은저지. 선한장도. 좋아한다고지. 그러지. 과르시. 마다 소수의 과사되래야 배 냠으로 당시 된 에너지 니지인스 제직자래. 반대에나 섬정에 소수의 과사되네 봐. 친치. This is a little bit difficult. It's okay. That day, Kashore, the Takandar Tizan, Zoblindi, Takandarji, Chungurchins and Jabatizu, Tanya near Juare. As that day, Dusane, Nazu, Nale Havajik, Randa Shen Sadi. 아주 싸버는 신지기 개발체 보시다 타를 보시다 매버지 따라한서네 신기 차시르지 신선해랑 그 차시르지 또 두지미 인주사네 아주 디도디 찔리진 대지 여비지 드네 이미 인주사네 신기 디도세라야 랑기 랑기 뭐다 유네 랑기 디도 너 차야지다 랑기 디도데 뭐다 유네다 신기 디도 차섬으로부터 저바 용대 알아보지 도시차대의 인주산 진지지기 토하네 다 대양 아주 더 공주변의 신기 니지 챵보스는 라도 저와 챵보 진지지기 토하네 가르치는 아주 따로 진지지기 닝도던 데메 토하네 아주 여기다 globalisation 세란라도 야는 인지지기 미데미 장단 조심진 버룬 저바디 따토버로 총의미나 덴데 디 소수미진나로리네야 페도여위지당 셴변주베걸이야 다디 셴변주베하기 다가 누바침을 샤도레 삼르들 정이 다 샤슈미 그들입니다.
So in this way, when we talk about compassion, compassion is that the big part of yourself becomes others. If I, stay here in my own space, and then others there in their own space, then the compassion cannot be. You have to go beyond your own space. You have to be in the space of others. That's compassion. Others has to become part of you. And especially in this modern world, the modern world has become smaller, or in one way very easy to communicate. And when we see this, when we experience this, I feel that the kind of difference between me and the others kind of becomes less. My happiness and unhappiness becomes part of the others' happiness and unhappiness, and others' happiness and unhappiness is also very much become part of my happiness and unhappiness. There is so much relativity, so much relatedness, so much dependence. So with that kind of understanding and experience, this great loving kindness, great compassion arises, which is also a very strong courage. So when that kind of courage happens, this understanding happens of this experience, then I think it will create a very strong energy or very strong strength to be of help or benefit to many other beings. So therefore, I understand that becomes very important here.
Okay. 다 연결 양 건다 연결지 연구 유서인데 양 가서 아드 간지 지사죠. 다 간다 시자 탐제의 명례 다정 아시에 주사를 섬상을도 다들이 다 개발스김도 다 간다 양가르지 용아를 두스래 다들은 선이 까마버시게 왕 두스다 주제 까마버시 왕 두스샤를 두스이 아니 엄마디 경원 주주배게 누셔 아주 유럽리아 까마버시 왕난데비시 드니징에 망버지 근육에 망버지 근육에 다선이 다대체 왕디 제인주산에 다디 가셔야 다지 인동도를 제 자적으로 다들 인주산에 다도샤인
So I have to come again. I will come again in the evening. And they say that there's something about art and culture. They think that I have something to say about everything in this world. So I'll see you then. And tomorrow we will do the Karmapakshi empowerment. I've heard that the 16 Karmapa did give the empowerment of Karmapakshi many times.
Mare, I have the recording.
Oh, I have the recording.
Yes.
I have the recording of the 16 Karmapa giving empowerment of Karmapakshi in the West.
In Europe.
In Europe.
Yeah. That's why tomorrow I should, okay, I need to do again stupid things, but thank you.